Hi, boys and girls. Okay, so today in math, we are doing something pretty cool. It's kind of neat because we haven't done this before. We are doing measurement. Now, measurement is when you want to find out how long something is or how big something is, okay? So there are different ways that we measure. We measure how much something might weigh. Like when you go to the doctor, you have to get on the scale and the doctor has to put down how much you weigh. And then they want to see how tall you are, how long you are. Okay? So that there are different ways to measure. When we make food, have you ever made cookies or made something in the kitchen where you have to measure? You use a measuring cup or you use the teaspoon or a tablespoon and you have to measure in the little spoon and you pour it in? Okay, that's measuring also. Well, the measuring that we're doing today is the kind of measuring like when you want to put new carpet in your house or in your apartment. If you need to figure out how long a table needs to be, or your couch, or your bed, because you have to have enough room to fit other furniture in your room. So you have to measure to see, okay, my room is this big. Oh my gosh, we don't have enough room for that. So you have to measure and you have to figure things out. And so you're going to be measuring things your whole life. Yeah. Measuring is super important. You're going to use it a lot. Yeah. But you probably see your family, they get out rulers and you use a ruler. Now, my husband, he also has, and I have one too somewhere, a tape measure where you go and you pull it out. It's really cool. And then it goes, and if you're not careful, you can get hurt when it pops back and it closes. Well, a tape measure is a type of measuring. A ruler is a type of measuring. But what we are going to do, we're going to do something called non-standard measurement. And that's kind of the fun one because we can use anything to measure. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So we're going to use whatever we have around our house to measure. Yeah. Okay. Now, I have some yarn. I know. I just happen to have rainbow yarn because it was pretty and I wanted it. So I bought it. So it changes colors. Yeah, it is the coolest yarn. I know, isn't it pretty? And so this is what I have to measure with. But I started thinking that we might not all have yarn at our house that we can just cut up. So some other things we might use to measure would be a straw. You can put straws together. The only thing with straws is that if you have something really little, then you can't really see how long it is. So that's the big thing about a straw. It's kind of difficult. Now, candles. I have some birthday candles and they haven't been used, so they're all the same length. And so these could be used to measure. I'm going to show you in just a minute. Now, another thing you could use are Q-tips. I got these at the dollar store. And so these are all the same length. They're not used. And so you put them end to end and line them up. And so you can see how long something is. Another great thing that we would be using in the classroom would be crayons. Yeah. Now, as long as the crayons are relatively about the same length, you can line them up and see how long something is, okay? So if I was gonna measure a sponge, now I have the crayon at the bottom, and then I'm gonna put another one here. So it's about 1.5 crayons long. Can you see it at the bottom? I'm trying to do this. Let me turn it this way. My table's a mess, but just a second. Let me move my stuff. Okay, let me put the camera shooting down now. Okay, so where'd my other crayon go? Okay, here we go. So right here. Stay over there. Okay. So have it lined up. Then a little bit more of another. Okay? So that's one way to measure. Now another way to measure is that I could use Q-tips. They don't have to be the same length as the crayon. I'm just showing you how we can use non-standard measurement to measure. We don't have to use a ruler. Oh look, see, I need a little bit of another one. There you go, right? See that? So it's like 1.5 Q-tips. Now, the thing is, we would have to try to figure out, the problem with doing this is it's a little bit harder than to figure out than what was the shortest and what was the longest, okay? So I'm gonna use my scissors and I'm going to cut the string, and then we're going to line up the strings and see which one was the shortest and which one was the longest. Okay, so there's my sponge. I'm gonna leave it on there, okay? Then I have some other things that we can measure. I'm gonna measure a straw. Come back here. So, oh, it's not quite lined up. I gotta line that up. There we go. Then, there we go. So that's the length of the straw. So far, what is longer? What is longer? The sponge. Oh, hold up, let me take it down. The sponge, or can you see it? You can't see it, can you? Hold up, I got technical difficulties. It's caught on a wire here. Okay. Is it the sponge or the straw? Oops, that's about to fall. Sorry guys, I'm trying here. Is it the straw or the sponge? Which one's longer? So far, it's the straw, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Just a minute, I got the leg in a bucket. Okay. There we go. Okay. So, now I'm going to measure a sticky note. A notepad. So, I hold it, line it up, and then I cut it at the bottom. There we go. Okay, so these are the things so far that I have measured. Oh, that one's a little bit off. Let me trim that. Okay. Okay, got that. Now, I found a plug that I use. It's an extra one for like one of my phones or a kid's phone or something. And so I thought, this is something that would be kind of interesting because it's really small. So I'm gonna measure how long it is. I'm gonna put my glasses on because Miss Mann's trying to wear contacts, but I have to also wear my bifocals when I have to do something that I really have to see. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm doing because I can't see. There we go. Okay. So, there we go. It's right on there. Pretty short, isn't it? Pretty small. Okay. So, I have a sponge, I have a straw, I have the little plug, and I have a notepad. Oh, and I brought something else I wanted to show you. I wanted to measure. I brought a book. Well, I have a lot of things over here to measure. I also brought the puzzle that I gave y'all to measure. And I brought this really cool book called Bruce's Big Move. It's such a good book. I'm gonna have to read it to y'all sometime. Okay, so getting my yarn, and I can measure my puzzle, just like you have. Now, there's different ways you can measure from the bottom to the top, or you can measure across. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you get it from one side to the other, and then someone holds it. Well, you cut or they cut, okay? So, got it on there, got it cut. Now, my book. Okay, one more thing. Gosh, I have a flashlight up here. I have a marker. I have my name tag. I have all these things I was going to try to measure, but I don't want to make the video too long. So, I put it on the edge. Now, what if I use Q-tips? Can I do Q-tips? Yes, you can do Q-tips. That's fine. If you want to do a straw, if you want to do crayons, that's fine too. You're going to pick like about 4 things and you're going to measure them, okay? And then you're going to tell me which things were the longest, which thing was the longest, which one was the shortest, okay? So you're going to do that in addition to your homework page. So you have 2 types of homework to do. So measuring my book, here I go. Start on one end, and I'm going to go to the other. Okay, so now I'm going to cut it. There we go. Okay, this is from my book. My book. And I don't have any, oh, I do have tape. Okay, so I'm going to tape it up. The only tape I could find was this painter's tape, which is so funny because we're not painting. I don't know why we have this. But, okay, so this is my book. Okay, that's my book. And then, let's see. This is my puzzle. Okay. Then I'm going to put this on here. I'm going to put book beside it, B-O-O-K, and this is puzzle, P-U-Z-Z-L-E, puzzle, okay? Can you see it? Now, what do you think I should put next? I have the straw, the sponge, and the plug and the pad. I think the straw string should go next. Oh wow, look at that. That is quite a bit shorter. The book is just a smidgen, just a little bit longer than the puzzle. You see that? And this is the straw. S-T-R-A-W. Next, which one do you think is longer? The string for the sponge or the string for the notepad? The sponge, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put that next. Did you hear my dog just huff? She's getting tired of me teaching him. She's like, okay, Mom, I had enough. It is time for you to stop. Okay, and that is what? The sponge. S-P-O-N-G-E. I think that's right. Sponge. Okay, next one is the notepad. And then the plug. Okay. Ooh, wow, that does get pretty short. Notepad. N-O-T-E-P-A-D. Notepad. And the last one is the plug. Okay. Whew, that is pretty short. Yeah, look at that. Oh my goodness, it's just teeny tiny. It's just teeny tiny. Okay, so the shortest is the plug. And then, I'm gonna pull my thing a little closer, tilt it down. So the shortest is the plug, then the notepad, then the sponge, then the straw, then the puzzle, and then the book. Okay, so we have the longest to the shortest. Now, if I was using my Q-tips, I could measure with my Q-tips. How many Q-tips long? Okay. Wow, that's quite a bit. Now, oh goodness, that's just barely the white part on the Q-tip, the plug. Another thing you can use to measure is to put paper clips together. You can use paper clips to measure, okay? So those are some ideas of some things. I want you to have fun and to measure things. It doesn't have to be like you have to measure your bed or the table. You can measure little things, okay? Then your page that you're going to do for your assignment, after you do some measuring around your house, you can show me in a video some of the things that you've measured. And remember, you don't have to use yarn. It could be Q-tips, it could be crayons, or it could be paper clips, okay? Well, the paper that you're doing for homework is called Measure and Record. And you're going to look at the cubes that are underneath the things. And then you're going to use your crayon and you're going to color them to see how many cubes long that item is, okay? So look, it stops right there for the toothbrush. So how many cubes? Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many cubes? 5. 5 is down, around, and put on a hat. Do you remember the tally mark? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just to see if you remember, because we talked about that yesterday. Okay, so here's the basket. Now the basket's kind of in the middle. That's a hard one, but it's just from here to here. So those are the only cubes that you should color. And then the house, you just color the ones that are under the object, and that's how many you write. The fly, oh, the paintbrush is very big. The chair, let's see, you kind of got to make sure you end it. You may have to family kind of help them understand where to stop coloring. The basketball, looks like it kind of goes from here to there, okay? The box, the box is kind of tricky because it's open, but that kind of looks like it. And then we got a rainbow, a pan that's very big, a little teeny tiny butterfly, and then a ring. And that ring, there we go. So you understand that's how many you're supposed to color, okay? And then you write the number above it and see if you remember how many tally marks that is from yesterday. Okay, guys? Okay, and then you can submit this through Flipgrid or Class Dojo or Schoology, okay? Wonderful. Well, I'm so proud of you for working so hard in measuring today. Super job. I can't wait to see your videos. Bye, guys.